explore another portion of it, looking at Hallen and Baker Islands and Johnston Atoll, as well as some nearby seamounts. So we won't be going out to Wake Island, which is the other part of the Pacific Remote Island Marine National Monument, but we're just trying to understand the biology, the geology of these marine national monuments, which are refuges. They're marine protected areas that protect these resources from extractive activities like fishing and mining. Established in 2009 and expanded in 2016 to further protect some seamounts around the monument. So this is an effort. It's building upon a campaign that ran from 2015 to 2017, run by NOAA, called Capstone. But basically, we're trying to support the managers of the monument by helping them understand what they're protecting, what's down there, what are the mineral riches, what are the biological riches in this monument. So that's all summarized in the excerpt from the cruise plan that we have for the expedition overview that's posted on Nautilus Live.
Thanks, Emil. That was a great explanation.
Happy to oblige.
Check 1, 2. Audio test 1, 2. Check, check.
About a half hour from reaching the bottom, which is at a depth at this location, 2,240 meters.
How many hours are we planning to dive to the bottom for, Emil?
The total dive should be about 28 hours.
28 hours total with descending and recovery?
Correct. So, yeah, let me see the bottom time.
Not sure if it was 25 hours.
So that sounds right.
Okay. So, Emil, can you talk a little bit about what's the difference between this deep sea water coral that we are expecting to see down in this side versus the shallow water corals that our viewers might be used to seeing?
I can touch on that. Gina can chime in if she wants, but the deep water corals are all filter feeders. So there is no sunlight at these depths. They don't have that symbiotic relationship with the algae that we find on the shallow water corals. So they are entirely dependent on the currents to bring nutrients to them, and they're long-lived. I don't know about how long lived the shallow water corals are, but these deep water corals can be thousands of years old. Sequoias of the deep. Add anything there, Gina?
I would say their orientation is a little different than shallow water corals. Oftentimes they'll be pointed straight up to get most of the current, whereas in the shallow water corals they'll be their surface area will cover, they'll be not really pointed straight up, kind of have more flat crusting corals. So.
Gina, bring the microphone a little bit closer to you, please.
Did you get any of that?
That's way better.
Perfect. So I'd say the orientation is a bit different for deep water versus shallow water corals.
And in this case, when you say the orientation is different, it's because they're trying to grow in favor of being able to filter feed instead of getting access to light and expanding their surface area.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you to both of you.
Yeah, that extension upward, you know, results in some beautiful formations. I've seen bamboo corals that look like candelabras that were taller than Hercules. And then the Iridogorgia, you know, it's always a favorite with that beautiful spiral that they feature. You know, little works of art.
And you were referring to the coral as being the sequoias of the sea, and that kind of takes me back to the fact that we can age them by counting the rings on the base. Am I mistaken on that?
That's one way. I'm not sure that they're all datable that way. I think there might be some chemical dating as well. And if we have Alexis in the lounge, maybe she can chime in on dating of corals, deep water corals.
Hey Science Party, this is Lounge. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey, Lounge.
Hey, this is Alexis. I heard you guys talking about some corals. Do you want me to go into a little bit about dating of corals?
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, so like Yoshida said, some of the corals can be dated because they grow with rings, kind of like a tree, but that's only really a couple families of octocorals. Other ones can be dated with isotope analysis, like Emil said, as far as like chemical analysis. So we can do it similar to how you would date rocks. And so you can use uranium thorium is a good one for corals, which can give you a pretty good resolution as far as between hundreds to thousands of years.
Thanks, Alexis.
So we just heard from Alexis Wenig of Temple University, my co-lead scientist for this expedition, and happy to have her expertise out here. She's working on her PhD in Temple.
Was it the Temple Owls, right?
That is correct. If it weren't for Temple, I probably wouldn't be here. That's where my parents met.
Yep. And the Ukrainian club, yeah?
You got a good memory, yeah.
Yeah. That's how I stay married. I listen like there's going to be a test.
I'm glad my wife is sleeping right now.
Is mine? I hope so. Yeah, 1 a.m. My wife sent me a very enthusiastic, hopeful text today that said, only 5 more weeks. And I know to her, since I left for 3 months, it doesn't seem like long, but when I saw it, I was like, oh no. 5 more weeks. That's all right, it's all good. you're starting off, you can usually just hand that to me and I'll spell it.
So now, if you going to just try to set down where they are now, or edge over to that flatter area.
Yeah, I think we'll just as is.
That's not too steep.
I'll step a little.
Yeah.
Because we can settle, you know, by the time, I think, so Herc's pulling Argus a little bit north, so by the time they settle,
Yeah.
I think Herc will be able to be here, but you're right, I might as well just bring him out. I'll set the ship a little bit.
Might be a little more, yeah, easier to set up. Get a good bottom lock.
Bridge, nav. Can we step 50 meters bearing south? Thank you. Ed, how's my volume on this headset? That sound about right?
That's just a little bit low. Let me give you 3 dB of boost, and
Okay,
we'll see where
I
you
don't
end
talk
up.
too much louder than this. Check,
Yeah.
check, check, check.
Yeah, that's good right there.
Great.
That's okay.
Awesome, thank you.
So for those just joining us, we're currently descending at 1,580 meters. And we expect
Trevor,
to
I
reach-
am moving the ship south 50 meters, so you should be fine. It'll only stream you out more, just so we're like a little bit landed on this flat bit. No.
So what were you saying our target depth is?
It's 2,250 meters.
2,200, so that's probably just over a mile. It's like 3 feet to a meter-ish, 3 point something. So that's about roughly 6,000 feet. Miles 5,820 feet, I think. Emil knows. Emil, how many feet in a mile?
5280.
5280. I had my numbers reversed. Well, apparently I wanted to very good on the test. So yeah, more than a mile down.
Fascinating.
And then I can't tell you how much pressure there is at that depth. Anybody care about that? 2,200 meters is about 32,000 pounds of pressure per.
We gotta be
no,
going the same
is that
way.
right? No, that's not right.
They got to be going the same way.
No, I
220.
221 times 14.7.
No, they're the same now. There you go.
3,200.
They were.
About 3,250
Oh, you're gonna
pounds
time
of
it.
pressure per square inch.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
It's good that we have our
That's very
ROVs
close.
going down there,
Yeah.
not ourselves.
It's the little things. Yeah, that's actually really. It's not something I was going to be able to deal with.
It's adding that last atmosphere of pressure in that always gets you.
So, you know, one thing, one of the challenges of these deep dives is the slow response of, you know, Argus tends to hang beneath the ship, but as we'll be moving up this ridge, it'll take a while for the movement of the ship to transmit down the steel cable to Argus's position. So there's a bit of a delay. Navigator tries to anticipate that and keep us moving along.
Yeah, it forms a little bit of a catenary, and there's a delay, and it scales based on depth. So at like 6,000 meters, it takes 15 to 20 minutes, or sometimes a little bit longer, from the time a vessel starts moving on the surface until the ROV responds at the bottom. We measured, I'm trying to remember what our depth was. I thought it was about 2,000 meters a couple legs ago, and it was 4 minutes before we started seeing the movement on Argus.
Yeah, and those are 4 long minutes.
Yeah. That's why the sonar is so helpful. Make sure we're not dragging it into harm's way.
And so, yeah, when we're going up slope, we let Herc lead the way. so that, exactly as Ed said, we're not pulling the ROVs into danger. Let Herc go first and then we follow up.
Kind of like walking the dog. Or the dog walking us.
Yeah, my pit bull walks me. Yeah, kind of like that.
Someone over here is asking, what is our descent speed?
That's a great question. We are just about averaging 25 meters per minute on the way down.
Thank you.
Which, util units plus. So it's like 82 feet a minute. So what is that, like a 10-story building every minute? So about 8 feet to a floor or something like that? I'll let an architect chime in. How many buildings per minute are we going down? How many floors?
If we have any architects tuning in, go ahead.
I'm not going to be specific. I'm not going to require you that you be like a Dutch architect or a Kiwi architect. Although it'd probably be better off to be maybe American if we're going to go to feet.
Yeah.
So Alexis has informed us that 2250 meters will be 1.39 miles deep.
There we go. Yeah, way
Thank
more
you,
than a mile.
Alexis.
That's a nice run.
So Herc, were you also feeling a current at this depth?
Almost no current.
Great.
I mean, as far as I can tell during descent.
That's good.
Yeah, we might want to keep an eye on that nav screen on the next recovery or launch just to see where.
You were not on the transit.
No, I was not.
We were coming up perfect.
Yeah,
400, 350 meters. It was 3 knots the other direction. I ended up, I was streamed out behind the ship. I came all the way around more than 180 degrees and ended up over there.
Yeah. Whoa.
And at 50 meters, we stopped, we held, we started moving the ship forward and come back around. And
50 meters fixes it. It's like,
wow.
So you just go through this madness. And but everyone knew about it, which was good. I let Mark know that we might have to wait to sort it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild.
Several legs ago, Mark and I were doing a recovery on the Fantail. It started to drizzle and then just turned into a torrential downpour. And Mark was convinced that Nav had us positioned just like a quarter of a mile into the storm. And if we'd recovered a quarter mile that way, it would have been perfectly dry.
That's one of my parameters.
What's the
have the bridge look at the weather. Yeah, let's put them right in it.
Yeah, where's the nearest squall?
Have you seen that weather?
That's a great recovery point.
Please track that squall.
We got the radar up.
Yeah.
Like, put the ship there.
We actually don't have the ship's radar back here.
We don't, no. And we used to have the bridge chart. We could have access to that, but we don't either. Neither of which are entirely necessary. I guess it's one extra thing.
Right.
So they're different speeds, right?
By how much?
Well, that much.
Where did I put sonar?
At least that much.
2? Yeah.
So that
speed one up.
That undercurrent is is possibly what helps to make Howland and Baker productive. Whether they hit up on those the slopes of those islands, and bring nutrients up to the surface.
Are those currents localized to the seamounts, or are they just in this region?
It's broad. It stretches across the Pacific from west to east.
I don't want to simplify it, but there's a scene in Finding Nemo where they get in a current like that.
That was the EAC, East Australia current. Now, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but it was, it was fun.
Yeah. I don't think submariners work at great depths. I have no idea. I'm sure that's probably classified, but I'm sure that affects them wildly.
Western boundary currents, yeah, like the Gulf Stream, the Kuroshio, East Australia. That's in their operating depths. Those are surface currents that extend down a couple hundred meters, several hundred meters. Yeah. And I think they'd correct you, the submariners.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Jeff Bacon has a great comic strip, Broadside.
I had
And,
a guy on the Thompson who corrected me the other way.
Oh,
Yeah.
a Navy.
Navy.
Ex-Navy? Huh.
Yeah, told me they were submariners.
They probably just like correcting folks either way.
Yeah, that's the joke. That's the first lesson. And
Right.
Whatever they say, tell them it's the
You
other
got
way.
it wrong.
So I wonder on Ben's wonderful little graph here, what causes the winch thing to say not okay?
maybe max.
I think that
Oh,
means
maybe it's a
comms.
value, if the value's too high? Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, so the not okay status is if there is no data coming into the graph.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
okay, so their data's good. Got it.
Man, we got close to warning, and we're not even swelling out here.
Don't worry about that.
Okay. I won't.
Roger. I think the highest I saw last cruise
So next
was
recording times 2.
12.7
Control 2.
at 2,000 meters, something like that.
And minimize that. Good records.
When we start seeing regular peaks over 15,000 is when we have to start thinking about
3
coming up.
green, 3
or
green.
keeping a super close eye on the weather or coming shallower or whatever. But 12 is just to be like, hey, remember to watch that.
So max is not like a
That's
theoretical
not
max.
Right, that's not the
It's-
operative limit. That's
It's the max.
max
yeah.
without, if it's under that, no actions required. But
Got
if
it.
it goes over 15, a decision
So
has
a
to
little
be
while ago,
Got
we
it.
had one of our viewers ask, how can someone become an ocean explorer? So it might be kind of cool if anyone can share their background and talk about how they ended up working with the EV Nautilus.
That's an interesting question.
I think I know the
Rennie's-
answer.
Rennie's probably the most
The
relative.
answer.
Yeah, it's the Squidworm. I was
I started as an intern.
Started as an inchworm.
I started as an inchworm, became a squidworm. I was in grad school and I was just working in land-based remote sensing, so particularly terrestrial LiDAR. And I saw an opening for the internship here on EV Nautilus, and I applied for it, having never really done too much in oceanography before. I came out as a seafloor mapping specialist because LiDAR and multi-beam sonar, the end products are pretty similar. And yeah, so my background is actually in geography, and then and you know, geospatial data, geospatial science, things like that. And then yeah, from there I ended up returning, and yeah, that was, now this is my 7th season. So the answer is, you don't have to study oceanography to be in this field. I could probably point to Trevor or Ben, and I would suspect that they do not have at least backgrounds of education in oceanography, because there's a lot of components that are involved to make this operation work. That being said, if you want to study the science of all this stuff, you know, you can work on a degree in oceanography or marine biology, marine geology, etc., etc. But there are other paths such as engineering, even not focusing in ocean engineering and kind of coming from a different direction can also work. Or in Ben's case, computer science, question mark?
Want to jump in, Ben?
Yeah, so I actually studied video and radio production, and I've just kind of been a hobbyist computer scientist most of my life, and just really like programming and playing with data. So.
But that being said, you absolutely can study oceanography, and I think a lot of anything in an environmental field, even land-based or ocean-based, requires getting involved in field work of some kind. It's usually a good idea to try to get immersed in it. You don't have to pursue that for the rest of your career, but having some hands-on experience and some visual experience of what you will be dealing with later on can certainly help. And yeah.
And I'll add that we've got the internships and science communication fellowships that you can apply for through the OET, Ocean Exploration Trust website.
At oet.org. Ding.
And we have
And we are just about ready to start accepting those applications. I don't think we've started just yet. Well, maybe we have.
Yeah, it actually opened recently.
Great. So apply early and often. Okay, maybe just early. Can only apply once. And it's a fairly involved application process, so don't put off doing that. We do require some letters of recommendation and a little narrative from you about why you're interested in coming out here. It's very competitive.
You want the camera?
We actually have
How's
two interns on our watch.
Scale on our range on sub-bottom, is that at 200?
200, yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
Gina, if
I
you
can't
want
see
to
those
jump in
numbers
on
here, so it's
SBL and
usually
talk
right.
about your experience getting from the application process from actually being on board the EV Nautilus, that would be awesome.
Definitely, yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. So I kind of heard about this program when I had an internship with the Office of Ocean Exploration and Research with NOAA at the headquarters, and I got to do a site visit as part of the internship at the University of Rhode Island Interspace Center, and that's when I really got, that's when I really heard about this internship program. And yeah, so I definitely started on the application early, and I had a lot of other research experience, I guess, not really pertaining to marine science, and more of geology and other, I guess, chemistry research that I put on my application. And yeah, I was super lucky, and I definitely just started early, look over the application, and definitely apply, even if you don't be intimidated if you don't think you have if you think it's too competitive. Definitely don't sell yourself short. And
that's huge. I tell people that all the time. Always make them say no. Never say no to you on behalf of somebody else. Force them to say no, because you never know. You may think there's no chance I'm going to get this. Next thing you know, you're sitting in this control room. So always make them say no. Always apply, even if you don't think you meet the criteria at all, because you don't know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So
What are we looking for, Ed?
well, each program has different requirements. Specifically for the video engineering internship, obviously I want somebody who's interested in electronic storytelling and communications. I like for them to have some interest or overlap in science. But also one of the things I really look for, because there's so many applicants and it's so hard to pick somebody, I want the fact that they had this internship to make a difference in the trajectory of their career. So this is going to open doors for them. So I had an applicant this year who was super strong and was finishing up his bachelor's And in like his second year of college, he opened up a wedding and videography service. And that business was booming, and he'd been on a lot of interesting assignments, including another vessel gig. And that's not what I'm looking for. That person already has a career that they've started. And they're just going to build their business and their brand by coming out here. I want somebody who's going to really get doors open because they were here and had this experience. So we have engineering, or a broadcast major who's coming out here on this leg, who'll be up at midnight on watch, who's just graduated from Bates Technical School, so a young professional entering the field. Will get some great communications experience here as well as storytelling. So that's what we look for here. And then we have Avery sitting as our Argus pilot, who's been just chatting up a storm here on SPL. We'll see if we can get her to talk a little bit about what she's done. And you might have to move that mic up a little closer to your mouth. There you go. Hey, hi Avery.
Hi.
Welcome. And before we even do that, happy birthday again.
Yeah, right. Happy
It was
North
Avery's
American
birthday yesterday, but we're on the other side of the date line, so everybody on social media, it's they think it's her birthday today, so probably lots of Instagram and Facebook posts, I'm guessing, yeah?
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I guess about my journey here. Well, I guess I got my undergrad degree in computer science, or I guess more specifically software engineering. And when I graduated, I didn't really want to sit behind a computer and a desktop all day. I wanted to really use my hands. And actually, I applied for this job 4 times, but I just didn't get it. In the meantime, I did other internships. I did orbital debris modeling at NASA for a bit.
Cool.
I worked at the Air Force, but they were all software-based. So even though it took me 4 tries to get here, I'm still extremely happy. And it's nothing like I've done anywhere else. And I heard about this job actually from my geology club. So before, I wanted to do oceaneering and be a marine biologist actually, but my sociology teacher back in my first semester of college when I was still undecided, he kind of laughed and he was like, yeah, you're not going to make any money or anything at all, so you should pick something that's actually worth your time. So I headed over to computer science, but low-key I was still kind of into oceaneering and geology, so this opportunity was actually posted in my geology club in undergrad, and then when I saw it I got super excited, and yeah, I persistently kept applying, and then yeah, here I am talking to you guys. So, yeah.
Awesome. Happy to have you.
That's
out.
great. Yeah, I'm glad you made it.
Yeah.
And you probably hear people all the time tell, especially younger students, persevere, just keep at it. And yeah, keep applying, keep applying, keep applying. And eventually, like I said, you end up here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really nice listening to your stories. Thank you so much.
Look at that. Would you look at that? Here it comes.
A little bit of bottom.
Sure, yeah. Tricked you.
So Rennie,
That's the other one.
Rennie, once we get set up on the bottom, you see how there's like steps, 2 steps up to the first waypoint.
So let's keep it in.
Kind of
in
hit
view,
those
so keep
knolls.
It up to 150 for now.
Between start and
Yeah,
waypoint 1?
yeah, like start is kind of at a knoll there, and then
Yeah, for sure.
then
We'll
another
go
one.
up
We'll
these
we'll just follow those up.
almost directly, yep.
Great.
I'll use the waypoints as guides, not as absolute.
Right.
Sounds good.
All good? Let me reset it. 810. There you go. Let me do it again. 820.
820.
Okay. Ben, that might have been the time of the peak. I don't know that. But
I think the peak was 8:05.
Was it? Okay. Never mind. It was not the time of the peak.
No, take a peek. It's still up there,
Let
right?
him take a peek.
Oh no, the peak was 8:05.
Peak was 805?
Yep.
Did you log that?
No, I just happened to see it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Excited? Ready to see the bottom?
I sure am. Oh wait, you're not talking to me.
I'm talking to Rennie.
I'm Trevor.
Exuding excitement.
Is that Rennie down there? Hi, Rennie.
Hey, how's it going? Do you got any questions
Okay.
for me, Ed?
No, not at this time.
Okay, it sounds like you might come up with one.
Well, let me see.
I'd rather. Yeah, we're about to reach the bottom. I think I got a couple things to deal
What's
with.
our water temperature down here?
4? 2.
Two.
We're that deep. Okay.
Oh, it depends which one you look at. The ZDD, 2.
That probe is
The O2 sensor,
uncalibrated.
2.
Yep.
Temp probe is faux.
Yeah. We've got a couple of DVL beams.
All right, you can start ranging that down a little bit.
Range Roger. Roger range.
Range, Roger, range.
3 beams.
Roger. Captain over under.
I heard
Captain under over.
some mention of Doppler being a bit losing beams, but it may. I'm
Well,
just
we were
wondering
on
if
a
it is.
When we were on a cliff.
60 degrees
That's
slope.
what. Yeah.
that'll
So of course, but then the way that it was mentioned that it may have been more than that, caused by more than that. So
Let's
let's
find
just
out.
keep an eye when we get to flat spots.
Roger.
And I think it was beams 1 and 3 were dropping out.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. I didn't notice it.
Like everything, I could be wrong, but there was
First
some
I've heard
talk
that.
about that last leg.
Roger.
It was a steep slope.
So Nav or Herc, could you give us a quick overview of how we locate, how we find the position of Herc and Argus?
Yes, although we're actually about to set up at the bottom,
Sure.
so let's hold off on that.
Yeah.
But I will absolutely do that.
Cool.
It's my specialty.
Okay, and now you can take the bar out there
I
and
especially
do
like
it manual
giving
mode
that speech
until
off
we're
SPL,
up at,
and then Ed tells me at the end.
So now keep it that same speed going down, about 20 to 25 meters a minute, and then watch your altitude here. And as soon as you hit 20 on this screen, you can back it off nice and slow and come to a stop.
Just going to take us just a little bit to get sorted.
So what's your altitude now? Yeah, so you're almost there, and as soon as you get to 20, you can come to a slow stop. That looks pretty good.
We got bottom
rating
view
already?
in Argus.
Roger that. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I've got bottom in Argus.
Could you play with my game, please, Rennie?
Yeah. I was
What are those
thinking the same
contours?
thing.
Yeah, that looks
They're
pretty
10-meter
steep.
10
contours.
meter contours. Okay, let's come up on Argus, please. You can, up is pulling towards you.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
way. Yep. There you go. That's good. It'll take a while to. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep going.
And you can watch it on camera 9 to see if you're hauling in or paying out.
I actually like the bottom right where you can see the traction winch
Yeah,
turn.
that gain was.
That's good, but it's slower.
Ah,
Future wrench is what we use.
okay.
That's probably good for now. And we'll do some more fine tuning in a bit.
We've got some stuff in Herc.
Roger that. Could you please turn on your thrusters
That's
and then
a-
auto heading?
I don't know what's up with the gain here. Did you load in the normal Argus?
Is this downslope? Oh, that's downslope.
Yes,
I
that's
understand.
downslope.
Yep.
This is upslope here.
That alarm should be a UPS.
Roger.
Is it the one under your...
No, it's just conditioning the batteries.
Not yet. You're just going to do auto heading and hold there for now. So I have to back towards you before you're able to turn.
I don't really see much happening when I'm...
That was actually my backup alarm there, Ed, because I'm backing down.
Oh, right.
Do you want a DVL on the fly?
Sure. I'm
Okay.
moving pretty quick, but...
That's fine. I'll just do one real quick, and then
Sounds good.
I'll do it right when I get
So you
one.
can stop there. I didn't realize you were still coming up. You can stop the winch. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering, like, am I going down or what's going on? But you're still coming up. I missed that, so sorry about that.
Okay, we're on dead rec right now. All right.
Roger that.
That should be real, and we'll do a proper reset at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on.
I've been spinning around a lot with her.
Okay, but the gain on Argus, well, she was going up, so we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now you can start to spin around to 045, Avery.
We got bottom in view, so I'm going to
Yeah,
log vehicles on
bottom.
bottom there, Gina. So we can coordinate that effort.
Totally. Oh, yeah. If it's within 10, you're good. I don't know why it bothers to show a decimal. It seems not very useful.
Daddy, did you copy vehicles on bottom?
Gina, can you hear me back there?
Oh, yes, gotcha.
Okay. I logged vehicles on bottom.
Okay, so you can tip the camera up a little bit.
Thank you.
And you can start doing that to keep me in view. Nice, awesome. Yeah, sure. Okay, now let's go down on the winch again. So now during general operations, we'll keep the max speed to about 10, which you'll get a feel for that, where that is in the winch, but for now we'll just go down nice and slow.
You can watch the winch too, and you'll see it.
Yeah, you want to watch camera 9 to start. That's how you can see the speed. So this is kind of a good speed for right now. You can go a little faster than that. Yeah, but the best way to see that is watching this. So about that speed is good. And that's probably good for now. Cool. So good for now, meaning stop on the winch. Okay, so I'm pretty good there. I'm going to do auto XY, give you some good USBL pings.
Thanks. What's your
And
tether length?
41 meters.
41. It's
And
longer than normal.
Marley, you on
Yes.
headset back there? Yeah. So I've gone from F1.7 to F3.3.
Okay, I'm going to collect a few minutes of pings while you're on auto XY.
Roger that.
Spice?
That's
Spicy. Real spicy.
I focus peak.
Too much spice.
So I'm going to focus peak this one to do the white balance.
I'm still coming up too much. Ooh, more bias.
I'm
Yeah.
going to show you white balance. Nah, we do it on bottom. But it's this button.
So for those joining us just now, we have recently reached bottom for our first dive of this
All
cruise.
right, ready for white balance?
Stand by. Can you come full wide on the Hercules?
That is full wide.
Right. My lights, what are my lights situation? There we go. Okay. Let's go.
Right there?
Yeah, right there. Go ahead.
Coming in.
Is that good, or do you want to bump up?
Maybe you can bump the camera down.
Probably better to do this.
Yeah, that's fine right there.
Okay.
So I'm going to get it between 80 and 100 on brightness, and then you got to make sure you get it in focus.
It goes really light.
So if you look on this scope, on this, you'll see that I get it in focus right there, and now it's out of focus, so I'm going to leave it right there in focus. I want that line there, this line in focus. Then I'm going to cheat over here. I'm just going to do this. You wouldn't need to.
Are you happy with that?
I'm going to go ahead and black balance the camera. This is going to cause it to go dark for about 5 seconds. This is intentional starting now.
Roger. Yeah, I'm going to wait
there,
a little, but
there.
it looks like I'm
That's
not going to get much better
reoriented.
than that. I might get
That's
shifted
good.
a bit, but
Good black balance. Going to go ahead and white balance.
Nice clear view of Herc from Argus.
Good white balance. Let me just check it.
too
Could you
clear.
please take out the binder? I got some things to write
Red,
down
green,
there.
blue. Storing it as preset 1. Hold on a sec. Let me start again with my beeper on. Okay.
Okay, so on the flip this one page that way,
Good white
there's
balance.
some defects. Could you please write vehicle 2 light, minus 50 bias, minus 50 bias?
You really are
It's
light,
pretty
huh?
light.
Yeah, it's pretty light. Are you ready with Auto XY?
Are you ready to come out of it briefly?
Sure.
Yes, come out.
Out.
Okay, back in.
Back in.
All set.
Thank you. And there's another thing I wanted to write in there, Avery, which I'm going to try to remember now.
Which I am going to try to remember now. Hercules. I clear that.
Oh, we have Niskins. Good. Man, I missed that porch light.
Oh man, that was not a good scenario.
It'll be nice to have that back.
Stand by on nav.
Roger.
I'm going to give you a little push past your dome.
Did not like that.
Okay, you can come down your delta, please. Meaning push a payout on the winch. That's pushing away from you. Yeah. So come down on delta means lower Argus.
Man, that's really dark.
And try to get that delta number at about 20, 22.
I like that better.
Sounds. I just learned something new. You learn something new every day. Great. I learned that if you apply a setting with no numbers rather than 0, it crashes.
Neat, that works for this too.
Yeah.
So our software's the same pretty much.
Yep. Can't have no numbers.
No numbers is inappropriate.
No numbers is not the right thing to do.
Great, okay, that looks like a good spot. And that's a good speed. So you're kind of seeing how fast the winch is moving there in the camera? Sure, that's what you want to be watching all the time. Sure, yeah. It's good to glance down at the delta and everything, but that's the main one to watch.
Are these those ribbon worms down there? Is that what you're seeing there, Emil?
That looks like some sort of worm.
Is that worm over on the left-hand side?
Yeah.
We
we
saw a
need to
purple
image
one of
that at
those
all?
in the Galapagos.
Oh,
I remember
squid
it well.
in jar.
That you mean
Squid
the
and flush?
acorn worm? In
Acorn
the
worm.
Galapagos?
I don't know if this is one of those, but that's what it looks
Right.
like. Out of the corner of our eyes. Okay, nav is ready to go.
Herc is ready to go.
All right.
Video's good.
Let's start up the slope.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Randy, we can get a ship move going. And
Roger that. Our current waypoint is in nautical miles. It is.
could you please range us down to 30 meters?
315 meters away. So I'm going
315 meters away.
I'm going to start with steps just to feel out what the slope looks like, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going 048.
Current doing.
Bridge nav.
While we're waiting for that move to kick in, can we zoom in on
step
that?
30
worm?
meters,
Yeah, you bet,
bearing
Emil.
048.
I'll line that up now.
Thank you.
You're talking this big flat thing here?
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
What are you? Is that a
Okay, Ed, can you please zoom in?
Surprise us.
Copy, zooming. Holding there.
Looks like an acorn. Maybe it's a holothurian. Are you alive? Is it a cell? No, it's got things in its stomach.
Huh.
Acorn.
Well,
Looks
where's our
like acorn.
holothurian specialist? Ooh. You back there, Gina?
She's
Holothurian
here.
or acorn?
I'm going with acorn.
I'm going with acorn.
Doesn't look like an acorn to me.
Well, you just got to use your imagination. Why don't
Get
you
that-
dust it off a little
Try
bit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dust.
if you could just
Give us a clearer look at
clear
that.
it
will you?
off so we could see
trying,
it better.
guys. It's gonna be
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Looks like it
Wow.
could be a holothurian.
It looks like the inside of a holothurian.
Side chat, this is Lounge, can you hear me?
Yep.
It's an acorn worm.
Acorn worm.
Oh,
Acorn
yes,
worm.
great
Now here's a
confirmation.
question.
Yeah.
Is an acorn worm a holothurian?
That's a good question.
Acorn worm is not a holothurian.
Okay, I didn't know if it was in that family or not.
Is it mid poop?
Well, we've got a lot of,
So it's mid poop.
yeah.
Okay. Come wide, please.
So it's an acorn.
Could stay on, coming out.
It's a nice little gradient there. Dark
I think that's a
purple.
nice find to start things off.
Yeah,
Full wide.
I think it's good luck.
Okay, I'm going to go over to the right because Argus is nice and close to the bottom.
Yes. You should go.
And will
To
our
vehicle
acorn
right.
worms come in
like you
sighting,
do.
or Gina, whoever wants to
Okay, as I go
answer?
up slope, you can keep it kind of constant-ish delta. So I'm
I've
going to go
only
up so you can
ever
follow me
seen
up.
one in the Galapagos, and
That's
there was
Holland,
only
yeah.
one there. So you know, I don't think they're all that common.
Is this gain still?
Still low? It looks still low, yeah.
I know, but I'm cranking it and I don't really see
Oh, I
it
know.
changing.
Right click and go to control head. And then go to the TVG page, TVGVs,
Time variable gain.
gain default, gain limit. You can turn both of those to 30, or sorry, high.
Gain and gain limit.
Yeah.
Max out our limits.
Maximum limits.
There's another one of those
That's
acorn
two
worms.
gained.
I have 2 gain now.
I saw that. Yep.
So now we're going to have to start doing 2 things at once. So as I come up slope, you're going to keep coming up on the winch like you're doing good. And I'm also going to be moving that way, so you can change your heading with the auto heading and keep me centered up. So it's good now, but as I move, it'll get less good.
Our current course is 048. FYI. Looks like our
Roger,
transfer
roger.
speed is pretty hot at 1 knot.
Roger.
So, but that,
And
we're
you
not
can
going
come
to
up
see
faster
that.
than that. So looking at the screen up top there, you can come up faster. So you can be less concerned with the numbers of meters per minute and more concerned with how spinny it actually is.
Yeah, that's looking pretty good to me, right?
Yeah, it looks nice.
Now, we don't want that blue to enter our 20-meter ring.
Not usually.
That's usually the goal.
It's a good goal. I like that goal.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I see something moving.
There we go.
048, you say?
048.
Okay. I'll get a little stretched out. And the ship's moving?
Ship has completed its move.
Okay. Let's do more.
Okay.
Yeah, let's keep moving up.
Yeah, I don't know if Argus has moved too much, but
No.
we'll add a couple because this slope seems
Fish.
like not like cliffs.
Oh, what
shrimp.
do we have
Shrimp.
here on the left? Shrimp.
Shrimp.
Trim.
Bridge, nav. One more step, please. Thank you.
So Trevor, I'm seeing the slope going up to our right,
That's
correct?
correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not so sure that's a shrimp.
You
Is
can
it?
zoom in on the shrimp if you want.
Yeah.
You want to
Go
keep
ahead,
the delta
Bridge.
at about 20 to 23
Coming in.
meters. So that's a little high, so you can
I
zoom
think
Holding
it's
there.
okay for now. We'll start to hone that in once we.
Okay.
You're right.
Get
Maybe it's
sorted.
a shrimp.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it looks like we
So-
do. We
no, you
will
wanna
have
keep
the slope
delta
coming
depth at
up
20
to
to
the
22.
to the
So you're
right,
at 30, so you're a little high now.
but our
And
total
I'm going to keep
direction
that
at
in
the
frame.
end.
So payout again.
Argus
Whoa,
squid.
that confused me. Sorry,
Yeah.
you heard it, you said it, and I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the shrimp is
All
gone
right,
now.
I'm gonna get in past Mongo.
Okay.
There we go. Static.
So I think that this nook is more where we're in. instead
Yeah.
of on the flat part. Or more like here.
Well, I think
versus
that this
the
the resolution just isn't good enough.
Well,
Yeah.
very well could be,
So,
yeah. What do
but
we got to the
we're
right
ending
there?
up here. So I think you'll eventually at this course, hopefully, we'll end up in a slopey bit. But yeah.
Let's see what that is.
Okay,
Urchin.
go ahead and zoom on the urchin.
Coming in on the urchin. He looks like he's trucking.
Look at him, he's got somewhere to be.
Yeah,
Look at those little 2 feet.
very late. Ah, it's trucking.
Trevor, can you turn down the heave?
Turn down the heave.
Turn down the heave, please. The
Roger, I'll
heave of the ship.
set my heave setting to 0.
Thank you.
I'll let him leave the frame.
Coming
out.
You want to keep the delta at the same.
Zooming out.
So, of course, you'll be going up and down as the ship bumps up and down. No big deal. But if it's around 22, that's the happy number right now.
All right, I'm wide.
Thank you, Ed. So that number, that delta depth number, depends a lot on where I am versus Argus. So not only just going up and down, but if I'm closer, you want to be higher. If I'm farther away, you want to be lower. So that's why for right now, I'll just kind of tell you the number to aim for. And then as we get more used to it, you'll be able to make that call on your own. So for right now, try to stay around between 20 and 25. Like the 22 is the happy number right now. And so the ship is moving along at 045-ish, so northeast, and that's going to bring us up the slope. And as I come up, you can come up on the winch, you can haul in on the winch, and keep that delta depth at about constant. Sound good? And at this point, you rarely, if ever, need to look down at the screen on there to watch your payout. You're more watching the camera and the delta depth number.
Okay, so we're still halfway through this move. We'll be all right. As we get sorted, we can turn the transfer speed down on these steps, or we can move a constant speed on a track. We'll just kind of, I think that once we get all the feel for it and
If it's going to be like this,
Argosity.
I'm the Argosity. I'm probably happy with steps.
Steps?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
even big steps or continuous steps would be fine.
Continuous.
Yeah,
Like, so you'd be okay with tracking a line? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not.
Okay, so continuous steps to me,
As in like keeping them
calling in the steps, yes.
and then controlling speed through the closeness to the end of the step.
Got it. Roger.
Does that sound okay?
I feel like that's what I want to do as well.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Until we get happy with what we're seeing.
Roger. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, what are you? It's no good. It's in my screen direction.
Get that out of there. Can't have that.
Get you out. There we go.
So for those just joining us now, we are currently going up an unnamed seamount located to the southern part of Baker Island.
I'm gonna call in another move even though we're almost at the end of this.
Perfect.
I think we'll be alright.
Sounds grand.
Bridge nav. One more step. Thank you.
As long as we avoid retrograde, I think we're happy for now.